See all this stock not workiness? Yeah, we got to do something about that. On today's episode of Amazon Garage, we're going to install all new gauges from New Vintage Hardware in the old 63 C10. Let's see what's in the box. All right, so first, new gauges. Check those bad boys out. Looking good. Then we've got assorted mounting hardware and instructions. Let's see what else we got here. Got the actual gauge bezel with also more instructions. All right, so let's open these up and see what we got in here. So we've got mounting brackets, looks like gauge pods, more brackets. These are the main harnesses for the back of the main units. More main brackets. Instructions. And then this is the oil and temperature sending units. All right, so the first step I'm gonna take here is mount all of those gauges into the actual bezel. Doing a little bit of reading here, I figured this out. So the large gauges, how they work, is you install them through the front of the bezel, and then there's this strap that goes around the back, and then you put those bolts on. That's how they stay in. The small ones are the same way, just with a different bezel. I got all the gauges mounted. Boom, looking beautiful. Gonna have to definitely clean this thing from my dirty fingerprints, but something to note, they use two different sizes of nuts for these. These are 8 millimeters, those are 9 millimeters, but everything mounted extremely easily. So next step, I'm gonna go take the old instrument panel out. So I went and took the liberty of taking all the bezel screws that go around this bezel out. Now we're just gonna take the bezel out. So these things are pressed in pretty good, but after some prying and a little bit of tap work, she just slides right out. Now time to disconnect all of this goodness. Now we're going to take the bezel off of the factory unit, and we're gonna take these 1/4 inch bolts out all the way around, separate the two pieces, and that's the same bezel that we'll use for the new unit. Guys, real quick, you know how YouTube works. And though I love New Vintage USA, they didn't send me anything for free. So please like and subscribe. Here's the rest of the video. And just like that, boom, new gauges installed in factory bezel. Look at this thing. It's gorgeous. Old, new. It's gonna look so sick, and I've got this nasty looking hole right here that I gotta take care of now, so let's get to wiring. So here's a couple things that I did. I used the old instruction poos, and I went ahead and laid out all of the wires. For the new harness, I used tape right here and just labeled everything, and then labeled all of the sends out of the back of the new unit. And then I took all of the old harness, these are some of the leftovers for the stock unit, marked with the sends that I was still going to use out of that, and then reinstalled it into the truck. Let me show you what it looks like. Check this out. These things look so good. So here's a couple things that I had to do. Each of the speedometer and tachometer, they each have a program button that you have to wire into a ground. So I very fortunately in this truck had two spots. Let's see, two spots. This is one that I set up. That will be for the, if this will focus, there we go. That will be for the RPM, the tach gauge, and then the one on this side will be the program for the speedometer. So I just want to show you what these look like here. So I'm going to turn my lights on. Those are the back lights that automatically come on with the light switch. This is one of the sends from the factory harness that I set up. This is what it looks like when they cycle. Hold on, let's see here. Check this out. Super cool. So they run through, and then of course they set. One thing that's really cool I wanted to show you is check out the high beam indicator. Boom, works. Also wired that from the factory send. So the two sending units that the kit comes with out of the box are an oil pressure sensor and the coolant temperature sensor. So let's get those installed in the Truckapoo. I'm gonna start with the temperature sending unit, and where I'm gonna mount that is in this tapped spot that's got a plug in it on the front of the manifold, which the manufacturer does actually suggest that you mount this in the manifold, not the cylinder head. So I'm gonna try to take this plug out quickly and replace it with the sensor so I don't lose all of the coolant. I know you probably should drain the coolant before you do this, but I really want to do that. So I'm gonna try. Oh, there's coolant right there. All right. That's not bad. Not bad. Got a little splash. Already have the sensor in. After a couple turns of the wrench, there she is. I do want to note that I did put thread sealer, that's that white stuff you can see on the adapter and on the actual fitting to that sending unit. So I've got all of the sending units connected outside of the speedometer. I had to order a specific speed sending unit that I've got coming right now from New Vintage USA. So let's do a first fire on this and see if all of our gauges are working. Here's the first fire. So let's turn the backlights on here. Well, yeah, I just gotta replace that light switch. It's getting a little bad, but all right, so we're gonna cycle it. All right, now we're gonna start the truck. All right, so looks like tach is working. Looks like bolts are working. Oil pressure is working. Got great oil pressure. The bolts look good. Yeah. Let her heat up and see if the water temperature is working, but as of now, it looks like everything's working as it should. All right, guys, that's a wrap on the video for the basic install for these new vintage gauges. I gotta say, overall, everything went extremely well. They were very easy to install, and the instructions allow really anybody to put these in your classic vehicle. So stay tuned. The next video will go into an in-depth training on how to program all the additional features that these gauges can do. So see you guys soon.